You know when you have good intentions? So I have a banner. I should have pulled the banner out here. So the banner is the cover of my book, The 7-Day Frequency Reset. It's 7 days on how to change the mind, and there's 7 stories, and there's a 1-day free sample. So I went to the Culver City steps, put up my banner, the table, the chairs, the umbrella. The wind kicked up, the umbrella wasn't locked down, came out of the stand. That's okay, put it back in the stand. And people going by, looking, everything, gave out a couple of cards, you know. But it's the right banner, right message if you want to work on you to lower the static in your mind, to raise the steadiness in your life. But everybody's just there to run, jog, sprint, grab a drink and go real quick. Nobody wants to stop and hear about the static of their minds. But I did recon. I'm like, okay, a bunch of people who would like to stop and get a free sample of a 1-day, you know, go to my website. It's on the card. So, did I get discouraged? Nah. I'm like, okay, wrong room. People they're into health, but not into working on their mind. They just want to jog, get in, get out, go up the mountain, come down the mountain, the Culver City steps. So, who needs change and who wants change? You know? So, I've seen a lot of videos about addiction. You know, you have this dis-ease. So I talked about the Culver City steps. I went out there. I let this plane pass by. So I'm going to call this video Recovery to Recovered. And this has to do with the mind. You know, I've been to all the A's. Alcoholics Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and Al-Anon. My sponsor said, you got to go to Al-Anon when I was in the 12-step program. Okay. So, recovery to recovered. So, you know, it's like going to the gym. You know, you go to the gym, you know, you're not going to go there to lose weight and go there once or twice. But then when you go there and get in shape, you know, sometimes you need to go there and you don't want to go there, but you have to go there. So it's the same thing. You know, a dis-ease is a dis-ease of the mind. A dis-ease is I might be in a dis-ease in a relationship. The relationship is nothing but drama, headaches, and arguing. But it's a third relationship, and maybe I can make this one work. Maybe I keep looking for a blue car, and I really want a yellow car. But maybe I'll try one more blue one, and, you know, maybe this will work. So recovery to recovered, this is some 12-step language. They always say principles before personality. I got these character defects. So I'm going to talk about my experience. I'm going to go on a little bit of just about me. So how do you fix, not suppress, not put it in remission? How do you fix a character defect? This is what I learned. Worked for me. You fix a character defect. If I'm selfish and I'm more selfless, if my static is very high of selfish, inconsiderate, and manipulative, and I learn how to be more selfless, if I'm more selfless and I like that more, and I'm changing my mind and neuroplasticity, getting rewired and all the chemicals, I don't have to be being selfish. So I got a curious question. Why can't a dis-ease of drugs, alcohol, relationships, or a dis-ease of a job, why can't a dis-ease be temporary? And how do I fix that dis-ease? Oh, you know what I found out? It doesn't work no more. Crazy relationships and drama and excitement was a lot of fun. I'll even push the envelope. Did I ever have a problem with cocaine? Not for a long time. It was a lot of fun. But then, For me, the challenge was, I think I can make this work again. And you're like, you know what, God or universe, give me this and I'll put this down. And the universe says, put that down and we'll give you this. No, give me this first and I'll put it down. So the joke is, this is what I say. People, you might like this, you might not like this. Doesn't matter. Say you have a cocaine problem, or you have an alcohol problem, or you have a crazy relationship problem, or you have a miserable job problem. What about, wow, I kept trying to make myself like this, and it just doesn't work. Now, truthfully, you know, I work with people sometimes that are like, can I drink again? I said, you know what the truth is? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But the truth is, if you clean up all your underlying issues, maybe you can have a drink and chill out. But the truth is, if you clean all your underlying issues and you have a drink and you get crazy again, it just doesn't work. There's nothing wrong with you. Is there something wrong with me? Cocaine doesn't work anymore? You know what the truth is? It worked when it worked. It just doesn't work no more. And that wasn't okay for a long time. But today, there's nothing wrong with me. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So I went through the 12 steps. I'm done. You know, I'm in the program of life. The steps they're great to go through because 90%, it's like they're known, but 90% don't get it because the personality is so hard to change. But then I'm like, I became a certified drug and alcohol counselor. I said, why do people keep going out of rehabs? Why do they keep going out of jails? And why do they keep going out of relationships? And I found out. I got this answer about a year ago. I went to Dr. Joe Dispenza. So neuroplasticity changes the mind and rewires it. So you have this habit that's supported by the nervous system, that's supported by your personality. But you know what supports everything? The chemical in your body. So I'm gonna make this down real, dial it down. If you have 5 marbles of anger, and I got 70 marbles of anger, you might say I'm gonna have a cup of ice cream and you beat up a gallon of ice cream. Now I got 70 marbles of anger, and I might beat somebody up instead of just be annoyed. But do you know when you do something, I don't wanna do this, I'm not gonna do this, and you keep doing it because the chemical, it's like, why does something feel good? And why does something not feel good? Because the chemical is matching the chemical. Why did I like crazy relationships with a lot of drama? Because those chemicals wanted more. I didn't know this. The chemical of the body was in charge. The thinking changes the wiring, that changes the personality, that's supported, that makes more chemical. Okay, let's go scientifically. You know you're laughing so hard you're crying, or if you're sad and you're crying, those tears are 2 different chemicals. Or somebody does something, you get annoyed, or somebody does something and you snap. Why do you snap at something? Because the chemical is so accumulated. And I was like, wow, I was fascinated. So the more you know, this is my analogy. You know, you got this habit, you pick it up, just put it down for 1 minute. But sometimes in that relationship or that job or that food, you got to pick it up and put it down, and pick it up and put it down, because you keep trying to make it work. There's nothing wrong with you. The chemical needs to be re-chemicalized. Here's a technical scientific thing. When something has a lot of static, it's called incoherent. When you get real mad and annoyed, there's so much static, you develop an ulcer. So when you get more calm, the static will go down of the frequency of the body, and the frequency will realign itself and it'll heal itself. That's just one analogy. So why do I have this habit? And I try, and so if the habit comes up and you know, oh, that's okay, I don't need to react. I stepped off the path because the chemical is getting a little more diluted, little by little by little. So something that used to set me off, I get to laugh. I just thought about this. And I didn't even set this up. The universe set this up. So if you go to my website, damiencosta.com, There's a workbook. It's called the 7-Day Frequency Reset. The 7-Day Frequency Reset, it's 7 days of a couple of questions, and every day has a video. There's a 1-day sample for free. And that 1 day is about, I start my Prius, and it sounded like my Mustang. I'm like, what is going on? I drive into the mechanic, and as I'm pulling into the mechanic, he's laughing. I said, what's so funny? He's like, I can smell you coming in. I said, what do you mean? He said, they stole your catalytic converter. I was like, are you kidding me? I lost it for a minute. And the mechanic goes, you okay? I says, you know what? And I started laughing. He said, what's so funny? I said, you know what? I can relate. That was me. I can relate. I said kids, who knows? I said, I can relate. When I was a kid, money got low, I'm stealing hubcaps, I'm stealing tires, I'm stealing cars. And this is the truth. Whoa, hello. So this is the truth. I should have known better. That's a lie. This is just my opinion. That's a lie. I couldn't know better. You can only know what you know. But I laugh because why is somebody stealing something from somebody? Or why is somebody in a shitty relationship and they're in another one and then another one? Because I can make this work for me instead of it doesn't work. You're trying to be a carpenter, but you really want to be an accountant. You're trying to be an accountant, but you really want to be something else. It's like change is the most exciting thing in the world, and change is the most scary thing in the world. But, this is what I love about neuroplasticity with Dispenza. When you change your thought, change your habit. It sounds wonderful. But why did I keep going in and out, in and out? Because I didn't realize the body is in charge of the mind chemically. And when I understood that, when something was hard for me to change because the chemicals were supporting that personality, okay. So the reason I'm saying is to go look at the video on my website. It'll say 1 day free sample. It's a story of when they stole my catalytic and I lost it and got super angry for a minute. I started laughing because I can relate. Now, can you relate? How can you laugh at yourself? Say you're in a shitty relationship and it's the third one. Or say you're in a great relationship and you can laugh. Wow, it took me like 4 relationships to get here. Or say you're in a shitty relationship and you go on a date and it's like, that don't work. You can tell that in the first day instead of 3 months later. So there's nothing wrong with you. There was nothing wrong with me. It was, I didn't know the chemicals of my body was in charge of my mind until it rebalances. And the way it rebalances is, I do a lot of studying, and they'll say the same thing. It's like right now, technically, what's wrong this very second? Nothing. Just right now. Meditating is just close your eyes for 30 seconds to a minute. You're gonna pee, don't move for 10 seconds. You're gonna start your car, don't start it for 1 minute. It's gonna feel great, and it's gonna feel sometimes so annoying. Because when you're able, watch this, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and in the middle of the day. See if you can stop 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Sometimes you're gonna go like this, you're gonna blink. Wow, that was fast. And sometimes you're gonna say 3 minutes, and you look at the clock, only a minute went by. You're gonna be like, fuck. That's the rewiring. It could be the 12-step world. It doesn't matter what world. Change is very, very uncomfortable and annoying. But when you know why it's annoying, because you're rechemicalizing your body. You know, you're at a job for 10 years. Something happens, you're like, I got it, relax. Now remember when you were there for the first week. What do I do? Oh, I forgot to do this. Compare yourself from the first week of that job to now 10 years later. That's the joke when you can laugh at yourself like, wow, man, this used to scare the shit out of me. Or say you're a nurse You're a nurse 15 years and somebody comes on and it's their second week and they're freaking out. And you're like, I would say go over there and start laughing with them. If you go over to them and start laughing, they'll be like, I just went to go to a Kiwanis club the other day. And the guy says, what is this? What is this static to steady? What is this static to steady? I says, well, let me see something right here. I'll try something. All right, 1 second. Watch this. 1 second. I was looking at the little thing. It says 2 lines. I said, well, this is pause. So I paused the video. Interesting. Me with technology is like, I grew up with blocks in kindergarten. Not like, a baby 6 months old is already on the iPad. So the guy sees my sign. This is the cover of my book. And then you go to the back is like this. All the chapters and everything. So he says, what is this static to steady? I don't understand. I says, what do you do? He says, I do mortgages. How long you doing? He says, 25 years. I says, well, how are you the first week when you worked there? He said, oh man, I was all nervous. I said, well, if somebody comes to work for you and you go over to them and you start laughing, relax, it's going to be okay. He says, wow, that's pretty funny. He says, instances that kid would get it, or that guy would get it, like, it'll be okay because that's the truth, because you know it. So my point is for you to laugh at yourself. But what do I do? Here's my meditation. I don't know right now what to do. Period. And that's okay. I'm telling this to myself too. I don't know what to do right now. Period. And that's okay. And you know what happens? Oh, I never thought of that. Because my name is Damien. That's the name of the engine. And I'm going to say the name of the engineer is running this engine. So when you're thinking, all of a sudden you give it a space, like between the words or the letters or the musical notes, there's that space. When you say, I don't know what to do right now, period. And that's okay. And when you let it be okay, all of a sudden a thought shows up with that space. That's what I want to pass on. When I got super pissed, my catalytic converter got stolen, my mind or the universe says, okay, let's give him this thought. And I started laughing. I can relate doing messed up stuff like that. Now, I'm gonna guess, have you ever done something messed up to yourself? Like, I can't believe I'm still at this job. Or, I used to love this job. Or, I do love this job. And I remember how I was before I had this job. So the joke is when we can laugh at ourselves, how we gave ourselves so much shit, so much static. What should I do? What am I gonna do? Why am I doing this? It's great. All this other stuff. It's like fighting gravity. I was like, if I hold this and I look, it's never gonna go up because it's understood. I don't have to think about it. So I would like you to laugh at yourself. Listen, I put a workbook together. It's a 7-day workbook. DamienCosta.com. There's a 1-day free sample. Maybe that's more than enough. You want more? You get the rest of the workbook. You want 1 day? 1 day's enough? Great, fine. Or I want you to laugh at me so you can laugh at yourself. I don't know what to do right now, period. And that's okay. Here's the joke. I don't know what to do. We label things 4 ways: good, bad, right, and wrong. So give yourself a break. And the joke is when we can laugh at ourselves. Today I went to the Culver City Steps. This is like, I have a big banner like this, and I'm there. And people just walking by. Maybe 1 or 2 people took a car to talk for a minute. And I'm like, you know what? Great information, wrong room. It's like going into a bar. Hey, I don't drink no more. Who wants to stop? Oh my God. Great information, wrong room. All right. I hope you play with the greatest joke, to laugh at yourself, where you're at and where would you like to be. If you like where you would like, if you like where you are, laugh how many stupid things you've done in your life. If you don't like where you are, if you do not like where you are, give yourself a little break. What do I really want to be being? What do I want to be doing? And if you don't know, I promise you, out of my experience, your intuition, give it a little space and it'll let you know. I don't know right now what to do, period. And that's okay. So I'm going to leave it at that. It's like when I say that, I can feel the quietness of, I'm sitting here in California, in Culver City, from a 2-week vacation, November 20th, 1985. I walked on the beach. I think it was the 3rd or 4th day walking on the beach. Some guy's radio says 1-foot snowstorm breaks out in Brooklyn. Hello? Pizzeria is yours. Merry Christmas. Had a pizzeria, wheeling and dealing, working in the movie business, partying, because if you didn't party, you didn't work. Going to clubs, 1,000 miles an hour. I came here and I was like, That's one of those stories, and one of the days, the story, I call it the U-turn. Pizzeria, wheeling and dealing, partying and dealing in the movie business, partying and dealing in clubs, coming here and going, wow, this feels right. And I didn't have a, what should I do? How's this gonna work? Nothing. Maybe you can relate to that story. There's 7 videos, 7 days. The videos are how you can laugh at yourself. How can you relate to that story? To laugh at yourself, to help you do what you would like to be doing. I'm just listening to life right now. So I hope you find the ultimate joke when we can laugh at ourselves. So I would like you to laugh at me till you can laugh at yourselves. That's it. Have a great day. Thank you.